A British officer stationed in the Niger Delta sits alone, drafting a confidential report to London. His tone is careful, but his message is unmistakable.
Navigation unsafe. Trade obstructed. Gunboats unable to operate freely. Nana Olomu remains defiant.
This was not the language of victory. It was the language of an empire discovering resistance it did not expect. Because by the late 19th century, British gunboats were supposed to end conversations, not start them. Wherever they appeared, treaties followed. Trade opened. African authority collapsed. Except here, in the rivers of the Niger Delta, British gunboats stalled. Routes were blocked. Cargo delayed. Ships damaged. Not an open battle on the high seas, but in narrow, hostile waterways controlled by an African power broker who understood those rivers better than any European commander ever could. His name was Nana Olomu, and while British records never like to use the word defeat, they repeatedly admit something far more revealing. Their gunboats were neutralized, disabled, forced back, rendered ineffective. In imperial language, this is called obstruction. In reality, it was a strategic sinking of British power. Not just ships, but confidence. And that is why this story matters. Because before Britain claimed Nigeria without resistance, before colonial textbooks softened conquest into administration, there was a Nigerian warlord who turned British gunboats into liabilities, and Britain made sure most of the world would never hear his name. By the late 19th century, Britain's empire did not run on gold. It ran on palm oil. Palm oil greased machines, powered factories, fueled the Industrial Revolution. And no region on Earth supplied more palm oil than the Niger Delta. But there was a problem. Britain did not control the rivers. African states did. Long before colonization, riverine powers, Itsekiri, Ijaw, or Hobo, governed trade with military precision. European ships could not move inland without permission. Trade passed through African hands, and Britain hated intermediaries. Nana Olomu was born around 1852 into an Itsekiri trading family near the Benin River. He did not inherit kingship. He inherited opportunity. As a young man, Nana entered the palm oil economy and mastered it. He studied river navigation, European bargaining tactics, the politics of tolls, access, and choke points. By his early 30s, Nana Olomu was one of the wealthiest merchants in the Delta. But wealth was not the goal. Control was. With his profits, Nana Olomu did something Britain did not expect. He militarized commerce. He armed private soldiers, built fleets of war canoes, established fortified river checkpoints. Every barrel of palm oil passed through his territory. By the late 1880s, British officials privately referred to him as
the most influential native authority in the Western Delta.
Translation: he controlled Britain's lifeline. In 1886, Britain outsourced conquest. The Royal Niger Company was granted power to wage war, sign treaties, administer territory. It was empire disguised as business. Company officials moved aggressively, forcing African rulers to sign treaties surrendering trade rights. Most complied. Nana Olomu did not. He read the documents. He understood exactly what they meant. Total loss of sovereignty. Between 1887 and 1893, Nana Olomu executed one of the most effective resistance campaigns in West African history. Not open war, economic warfare. He blocked British traders, closed waterways, enforced tolls, mobilized armed escorts. British ships were harassed, cargo delayed, profits collapsed. Internal British letters describe him as
a serious obstruction to free trade.
Free trade was empire's favorite lie. In 1894, Britain escalated. Gunboats entered Nana's territory. But the Niger Delta was not the open sea. It was a maze. Nana's forces used hidden channels, shallow waters, surprise attacks. British vessels were damaged, crews demoralized. This was not folklore. It appears in colonial correspondence. An African leader had turned Britain's greatest weapon into a liability. Unable to defeat him militarily, Britain reverted to strategy, divide and rule. Rivals were bribed, allies pressured, Nana was isolated. In 1894, he was captured, not tried, not defeated, removed, exiled to Accra, far from the rivers that made him powerful. Within months, British control tightened, trade monopolized, resistance collapsed. After Nana Olomu's exile, African middlemen disappeared, company rule expanded, colonial administration accelerated. By 1900, southern Nigeria was firmly under British authority. Nana Olomu had been the final barrier. And then Britain did something calculated. They erased him. No monuments, no textbooks, no national memory. Because Nana Olomu shattered the imperial myth. He proved Africans, understood empire, resisted intelligently, nearly stopped it. So ask yourself, if Nana Olomu was insignificant, why was he exiled? If Africans never resisted, why were gunboats sent? If colonialism was peaceful, why was trade disrupted, treaties forced, leaders removed? This channel exists for one reason: to restore the history's empire buried. If this story changed how you see Nigeria's past, like this video, share it with someone who was never taught this. Subscribe to Echoes of the Ancients, because empire survives on silence, and memory is resistance. They controlled the maps, but he controlled the rivers.